Welcome back, everyone.
Tom, is this really necessary?
Don't you forget, I'm the quartermaster. And you know that if you break the rules, I'll make sure you learn the error of your ways.
But Tom, I thought we were friends, and it wasn't that big of a deal.
Not a big deal? You call disobeying a captain not a big deal? If that's your way of thinking, you'll be staying there for a pretty long time.
I'm sorry, Tom, you're right.
Aye, you bet I am right. But we'll get into what you did wrong later. Right now, we need to welcome back our new crew.
Aye. Welcome back, me mateys. Even though I got into a little bit of trouble, we're looking forward to a new day and getting ready for a high seas adventure.
If you're new today, don't worry. Captain Phillips and Buccaneer Bob will help you with a review of yesterday's lesson. All hands on deck. All hands on deck. Thanks to our navigator and helmsman, Davy, we get to start today's lesson on what happens when you don't follow orders.
I can tell you, nothing good comes from doing the wrong thing.
Yay. You might want to explain to everyone just how you ended up in the pillory.
Well, as you can see, I'm in trouble because I didn't listen to the captain's orders. He told me to pick up all the maps and put them on the shelves where they belong. But instead, I went down to the galley to get something to eat.
Is that the only thing you did?
There's more.
Well, come out with it. Tell them the rest.
Well, when I was in the galley, I saw Tom, and he asked me if I'd put away the maps like the captain told me to do.
And exactly what did you tell me?
I said yes. They were all on the shelves where they belong.
Tell me, Davy, was that the truth?
No, they were still lying around on the table on the floors.
So, you admit that not only did you disobey the captain's orders, but you also lied to me.
Tis the truth.
This is why you're in the pillory. Because there's nothing worse on the ship than disobeying orders and telling lies. Do you know why?
Because it takes everyone doing their job on the ship to keep things from getting you into trouble.
Exactly. This is why I want all of our crew to see you locked in the pillory, so they'll never make this mistake again.
Well, I'm not the first person to disobey when they're getting into trouble. There's even a story in the Bible.
Really? Who might that be?
It's the story of Jonah. This might be a good time for the captain to tell the story to the crew.
So, you think I'm tough on you by locking you in the pillory? Would you rather spend 3 days in the belly of a whale?
No, sir. You think I'm fine where I'm at?
So, Davy, do you think you've learned your lesson?
I truly am sorry for disobeying and lying.
I'm glad to hear it. You know, there's an old saying, loose lips sink ships. Do you know what that means?
When the crew of a ship talk and say the wrong things, it can cause all kinds of trouble, including the ship sinking.
You would not want that to happen to our ship, the Amazing Grace, would you?
No, sir. I think Captain Phillips may have a lesson to teach about this with our crews.
If they do a good job, and I feel that you've learned your lesson, I might let you out of the pillory.
That would be wonderful. I'm getting a little bit of cramp from this position, and it's kind of embarrassing.
Well, that's kind of the point, my boy. You would not learn a lesson if it was fun. was interesting. I think everyone learned a lesson about how a story or orders can change and get confused the more people who tell it.
Aye, as a navigator, if everyone mixed up my directions like that, we would be going in circles and never getting anywhere.
That is why it's important for our crew to learn these lessons.
Tom, is it time to let me out of the pillory?
I know you want out, but I want to make sure you've learned your lesson.
Oh, but I really have.
Well, Davy, my boy, I'll be the judge of that. It's important everyone, you included, fully understand the truth about doing what's right and wrong.
Tom, I will have to admit, the longer that I have to stay locked up, the more I realize my mistakes.
Now you're starting to understand. I think Captain Phillips has an activity for everyone to help them see what it's like for Jonah and for you.
Tom, our crew did a great job in solving that puzzle, and I'm willing to bet they learned something important from it.
Yeah, no one likes to get punished. But sometimes, if we're given a timeout like Jonah and the whale, or you in the pillory, you can discover the truth.
Oh, 'tis true, Tom. I don't think I'll ever disobey you or the captain again.
It is important to learn the difference between doing what is right and wrong. And sometimes things seem similar, but they can still be very different.
Really? Like what?
Well, take pirates and swashbucklers. They might seem the same, as we both sail on ships, and we have adventures on seas, but there's one very important difference.
Aye, pirates are the bad guys. They are like the people from Nineveh. They lie, they steal, they cheat, and do all kinds of bad things.
So, when you were doing bad things, you were kind of like a pirate.
Aye, 'tis true. I was more of a pirate than a swashbuckler. But I've changed, like Jonah and the people of Nineveh.
It's a good thing to hear you say, because I don't want any pirates on my ship.
I think that this is what God wants us to realize. That if we do something wrong, we can say we're sorry and change our behavior.
That's what's called a conversion. I think Captain Phillips has an activity to show us how to change pirates into swashbucklers. Okay, Davy. I think you've learned your lesson. You can get out of the pillory.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That was not fun. It makes me feel ashamed because everyone can look at me and see that I've broken the rules.
Aye. You need to remember that feeling. If you're tempted to break the rules in the future, you also need to remember that if you do something wrong, it's not too late to change.
I think we can all learn that lesson because we all make mistakes. Well, not including you, Tom. I'm sure you always do the right thing.
I made plenty of mistakes in the younger days when I was a lad, but I learned from them, and I hope you have today.
Aye, I've learned my lesson, and I hope our crew will also learn from my mistake.
Aye. Now might be a good time for Captain Phillips to review the day's lessons.
Also, we need everyone to come back tomorrow so we set sail on the high seas for a new adventure.